It is a crucial message that needs to be said right now. And a part of my story, Roland, just so you know, is I came out of that moral majority type movement. My father was a Southern Baptist pastor. I got my undergrad from Jerry Falwell's university, Liberty University. So I am a product of someone who has been raised and conditioned to see the world in a particular way. And then over the years, I began to evolve, grow up. My own consciousness began to expand. I began to encounter real human beings that were different than me. And in that process, I began to realize that a lot of what I was raised to believe and what I was raised to see Jesus as did not match what I was encountering in the world around me, and it didn't match what I was encountering when I read the scriptures itself, from the prophets in the Old Testament all the way through to this revolutionary, subversive Jesus, all the way through to the book of Revelation, where John of Patmos is writing some of the most subversive literature in the context of the first century Roman Empire that has ever been written. And when you read those things, as a person like me who has given their life to the way of Jesus, studied the scriptures, I graduated from Candler School of Theology, so I've been educated from people who saw this long before I did. But your eyes begin to open up, and begin to expand, and you begin to realize, oh my God, especially me, I have a social intersection that is crucial to be able to speak to my own family members. Sometimes you need to disturb the family text feed. Sometimes there needs to be some conflict. And everybody, seems to be uncomfortable around conflict. But one of the things I've learned is conflict sometimes is the doorway. It is the path that can actually lead us to greater transformation. Here's the thing. Call it whatever you want. Sanitized racism. Call it rebranded racism. But as a white male, let me just speak to any other white males that are listening, or white people that are listening in general. We're not fooling anyone, and we're not fooling ourselves. And I know, because I was raised and conditioned to see the world a particular way, I know what my ears are hearing, and you can place all the context you want around it. Someone said to me recently, Pastor, he did not say, quote, black women. You're right. He called specifically 4 black women, one of which was Michelle Obama. And these educated black women is who he was talking about, and in the context, it doesn't change. And until we can come to a place where we acknowledge that rebranded, sanitized, polite racism is still racism. And the great Franciscan priest Richard Rohr says it like this. He says, you cannot heal what you do not acknowledge. And this is why it's so imperative when I see things like this administration and Trump and MAGA pushing to remove images of slavery from museums. We're regressing. We're moving backwards. And he knows what he's doing. This administration knows what they're doing. And I'm learning more and more that what this is underneath, what it is white supremacy. And a part of the reason, perhaps, many of these leaders, these white male leaders, part of the reason many of them are kicking and screaming and putting out the dog whistles, and I'm getting them, God knows the people of color are getting them, part of the reason I believe that's happening is because they are so terrified of one word: equality. Equality.
Yep.
Hey guys, Brother D Praise the Radio Show. Yeah, that was just hard to watch. But great to digest and to regurgitate and digest again. Why? Because it's funny, because it seems like a lot of the African American pastors who do interact with Caucasian pastors who support Christian nationalism, it seems as if those black pastors have a problem with standing up with anything that concerns their people, and they are taught to omit the very human rights of black people as well as our history. The only time that is accepted is when we start talking about America's history. Then it's okay to celebrate. Then it's okay to look back. Then it's okay to uphold and tie it to the very foundations of the scripture. But I'm here to tell you today that we have to stop walking in fear, and Christian nationalism is not of God. It's racism at its best, which leads to what? Witchcraft and idolatry. That would be the core of it, because witchcraft is manipulation and control, and idolatry is to put a figure or something above the very God that we serve. I know it's been a hard one for you, but we must follow Christ and not man. Christ and not culture. Christ and not finances, but Christ and Christ alone. God bless.